Good day and welcome to our lesson in accounting. We're learning about the format and example of a cash book. We're going to discuss what a cash book should look like and what things we need to remember. So we've learned about source documents, which are the proof of payments, the receipts, the invoices, the cash register rolls, the deposit slips, and so forth. We as accountants use these documents in order to fill in our cash book. Right in front of us we have a double column cash book, which means it has a cash and a bank column in it, so that we can make sure that we can understand how much cash we have at the end of the month, as well as how much cash we have in the bank at the end of the month. This is something that every business needs to do, whether you are a small tuck shop, a small cooker shop, or a big business. You have to have a cash book. In the olden days, they had a cash book that was handwritten. Nowadays, you can do it on Excel spreadsheet like I've done here, or you can even use a program like SAP or QuickBooks in order to make your life a little bit easier. Okay, so let's look at the format of our cash book. Right here we have the debit. You see there's a DR, that stands for debit. That reminds us that this side is the debit account side and this is the credit account side. We need to remember when we draw that. I need you to draw this into your book so that you can make sure that you can know how to draw this. In some of your exams you might need to draw a cash book from scratch, and you'll need to know how to do that. Okay, here we have the credit side. Credit side is always written on the right hand side. These indicate the T account. So remember, debit on the left, credit on the right. Then we have the heading of the journal. This is cash book of Piet Pompey store and the date of what month it is that you're doing the transactions for. We're going to do an example after this video so that you can understand what we need to do there. Okay, so it consists of the name of the book, which is the cash book. It consists of the name of the business, which is XYZ Stores, and the date in which the cash book is made. Then we have CB1, just across from folio. CB1 is the folio number of the book, which means it's cash book 1. CB cash book 1 for the page number on which a cash book is done in your journal. You should see that the column headings are the same on both sides. Document number, date, details, folio, cash, bank. Document number, date, details, folio, cash, bank. This is the vertical line of the T account. This dark line over here, we normally make a double line if you're drawing it in your book. This shows a T, so you see there's a T with a double line over there. Okay, and this divides the account into debit and credit side. Then we have our different column headings. We have document number. This is for the number of either the receipt, the cash register roll, or the bank statement on the debit side. And the renumbered proof of payment numbers and the bank statement on the credit side. The date is the date of which the transaction is taken place. Remember that the month and year are already given the cash book heading, so we do not need to write that again. We just write the date, the first, second, fourth, third, and so forth. Then we have the details. The details, this is for the correct name of the account which has been affected by this transaction. Can you remember that we defined and gave examples to these in topic 1, saying that it's rent or expenses or purchases or capital and so forth, that you will be writing in the details column. Then we have the folio column. The folio column is there for a folio number that we use to reference back to our ledger accounts. But we will deal with this a little bit later. At this moment, if you do not have a document, if you don't have a folio number, then that would be fine. Then we have the cash column and the bank column. The cash column is for all the cash transactions which are received on the debit side and all the cash payments you have been made on the credit side. So do you see the NS symbol on this column? Which means, no, you do not. Okay, so remember, when we know that this is made in Namibia, we do not have to put the NS symbol on these columns because we know that they are for cash. Okay. Then we have the bank, and this is for all the money deposited into the bank here and taken out of the bank on the credit side. Okay, so remember, we can receive money from selling goods, called sales, for rent, called rent income, for commission, called commission received, and for capital contribution, called capital. For payments, we can either buy assets, called vehicles, land and buildings, or equipment. The owner can take money for its own use, called drawings. And we can pay expenses, called purchases, telephone, water, electricity, and trading license, etc. And another thing to remember is that the numbers of all source documents, that would be on the document number column, will follow one another consecutively. Example, proof of payment 1, proof of payment 2, etc. The same with the cash register rolls and the receipts. That is specifically for the debit side of your cash book. The credit side will follow the other businesses' value. So you will not have invoice number 1, 2, 3, 4 here on the credit side. Especially if you're working with different kinds of businesses, you might have invoice number 1 from Piet Pompies, invoice number 2 from Jan Smits, invoice number 3 or invoice number 17 from Tony Rust, and so forth and so forth. So that will depend on the supply that we have, but the debit side of your cash book, the document numbers will follow each other. Okay, so we're going to start with the next video. We're going to do an exercise so that you can see how to enter it into the cash book. We're going to use this format, and let's see when we get there.